Hello and welcome to the Ledco, Division of Graphic Laminating, Industrial Series HS-25 Thoroughbred High-Speed Laminator, Automatic Sheet Feeder, and Finish Line Cutter instructional video. This video was designed to give you a step-by-step guide to the functions, setup, and operation of your new Ledco high-speed system, both by individual components as well as the fully integrated system. This video, as well as any instructional materials for the entire Ledco product line, is to be used in conjunction with your respective owner's operators' manuals to ensure years of problem-free operation. Section 1. Individual System Components. This instructional video will be presented in 4 distinct parts. Part A, the Industrial Series 25-inch Thoroughbred High-Speed Laminator. Part B, the Industrial Series Finish Line High-Speed Cutter. Part C, the Ledco Automatic Sheet Feeder. And Section 2 will detail the entire integrated system. Part A, the Industrial Series 25-inch Thoroughbred High-Speed Laminator. If you have not done so already, remove the laminator and stand from its shipping crate and place in a well-ventilated, level and uncrowded work area. If shipped overseas, you will have to assemble the stand per the instructions. Note, hardware and wrench are included. Place the machine on its stand and secure it with the hardware. If you have purchased the optional casters, unpack them from their box inside the crate and install them now during initial setup. The machine can now be plugged in or hardwired per its correct electrical requirements. Consult the owner's operator's manual and/or delivery spec sheet. And the machine is now ready for use. Inside the crate you will find a smaller accessory box that includes 4 aluminum stop collars with plastic thumb screws, 6 feed tray base sections wrapped in newspaper, the temperature control user's manual, and 5 hooked slitter blades. The owner's operator's manual is packed between the 2 front laminating rollers. You should take time to read the owner's operator's manual from cover to cover, highlighting or underlining anything you don't understand. If you need clarification on anything or still have questions remaining after reading the manual, viewing this video, and practicing on your new high-speed 25-inch laminator, please call your dealer or contact us directly at 1-800-937-9293. It is important to do this before a small problem becomes a large problem. We strongly urge you to pay particular attention to all safety precautions printed in the manual, the safety sheet on the feed tray, and all other warning labels or stickers on the machine. This machine is essentially a power tool, and very serious injury can result if safety features are ignored, removed, or compromised in any other way. Part A1, Components and Controls. We will now move over to the laminator and familiarize ourselves with its components and controls. First, locate and identify the 2 emergency stop switches located here at the top, front, and rear of the left side housing. Depressing either of these switches will essentially shut the machine down in the event of any safety or mechanical concerns. Reactivate by turning a half turn clockwise, allowing the button to pop back up into its operational mode. The heat shoes. The 2 smooth, black, Teflon-coated top and bottom heat shoes are located here directly in front of the 2 front laminating rubber rollers. These provide the heat needed to activate the adhesives in the laminating films. This heat, coupled with the pressure at the nip, or contact point between the top and bottom laminating rollers, and aggressive cooling are what essentially create a good high-speed lamination. The heat shoes are thermostatically controlled to be set at specific optimal performance temperatures by using these 2 controls located on the left-hand side housing control panel. We will discuss these and other controls later. Next, by swinging the top heat shoe up and out of the way, we get a good view of the top and bottom laminating rollers and the nip, or contact point. The nip can be opened and closed by the laminating roller cam handle located here on the outside of the left housing cover. This handle opens and closes the nip by raising and lowering the front-bottom laminating roll and heat shoe assembly. Behind the laminating roller cam handle on the left side housing is the chill roll position selector, the chill roll intake grill, and the chill roll position lock handle. The HS-25 is equipped with an integrated chill roller system to allow the laminated web to be cooled more efficiently by direct contact with chilled aluminum silicone rubber coated tubes, thereby allowing faster lamination speeds to be achieved. The chill roller assembly may be rotated into many positions via the chill roller position selector handle and locked into place with the chill roll position lock handle to accommodate different film thicknesses and substrates. Next is the slitter adjustment hand wheel located here behind the intake grill. There is an identical one on the right side as well. These hand wheels allow for precision side-to-side adjustments of the two independent slitter head knives for extremely accurate linear side slitting of the laminated items. The slitter heads are engaged via the slitter control knob located here at the lower front face of the right side housing. Last in line on the left side housing cover is the pull roller cam handle. This handle allows you to open and close the pull rollers located near the back of the machine under the pull roller anti-wrap guard for ease of threading, maintenance, and positioning the rolls open when the machine is not in use. Next, we have the top and bottom supply roll mandrels. The supply roll mandrels hold the rolls of laminating film. On the ends of the supply roll mandrels are knurled steel tension knobs and black steel tension springs. These knobs and springs adjust the amount of tension or drag on the unwinding stream of laminating film, technically called the web, as it is drawn into and through the laminator. Running the width of the supply rolls are the anodized aluminum gripper rods. There are 3 of them per supply roll mandrel. These rods, once activated by a half-turn rotation of the cardboard core of the roll of laminating film, will securely grip the inside of the core of film regardless of the direction of the unwind. As a point of interest, and to avoid potential tension-related problems, let's look at the hex adapters of the supply roll mandrels located to the inside of the tension knobs and springs. These allow you to slide the supply roll mandrel into place via their mounting notches located on the side panels. On just one of the hex adapters per supply roll, you will find a milled slot with a split drive pin located inside this milled slot. This pin should never be all the way to the right or left of the inside of this slot, or you will have no remaining range of tension adjustment from one side to the other. A good reference point for initial supply roll tension adjustment is to loosen the tension knobs on both sides so they are just touching the tension springs, making note to keep the hex adapter drive pin fairly centered in its slot. Then put 3 to 4 half turns of tension on one side, then the same amount of half turns on the other side. Next, let's unpack the feed tray base sections and put them in place on the feed tray. These removable feed tray base sections and the right and left adjustable side guides allow you to precisely hand feed varying widths of items to be laminated. The feed tray is removable for ease of threading the machine and easy access of the rolls and heat shoes for cleaning and maintenance. Now, with the feed tray in place and making sure we have removed all packing straps, rubber bands, tape, and plastic ties from the machine, we can plug the machine into its proper outlet. See Section 1-4 specifications in the owner's operator's manual. Go to the back of the machine and switch on, upward, the master power switch. Check the 2 emergency stop buttons. They should be in the up position. If any of the stop buttons are in the down position, depress and turn it clockwise slightly until it pops up. The machine will not operate with any of the emergency stop buttons depressed. Now let's move to the control panel. First, there are top and bottom heat controllers. To engage the heat controllers, turn on the respective upper and lower heat power switches. Both heat controllers will then energize. The upper window will display the actual temperature, and the bottom windows of each controller will display set temperature. Push the Set Enter key on each controller to change the set temperature. The up and down arrow keys will now adjust the set temperature. Push the left arrow key to highlight the tens position of the set temperature. The up and down arrows will now change the set temperatures by 10. Continuing to push the left arrow key shifts the number position to be changed to hundreds and then back to ones, and so on. The highest common temperature setting for this machine would be 320 degrees Fahrenheit with a standard 1.5 mil film. For the vast majority of applications, the temperature should never be set higher than 350 degrees Fahrenheit. For 3 to 10 mil low melt films, the temps would be in the 200 to 260 degrees Fahrenheit range. Once the new temperature is displayed, push the Set Enter key once to enter it. The set temperature will be held until it is changed again, even if the unit is turned off and on. You may turn the heat switches off now. When setting the heat on the laminator, always consult the owner-operator's manual. We also advise you to consult your film supplier to learn the optimal temperature ranges for the laminating films you are going to use. We will talk more about film later, but generally, when using a good 5 mil copolymer film, 250 degrees Fahrenheit is a good place to start. Now let's move on to the motor drive controls located here above the heat controls. First, there is the green drive motor switch that turns the system on and off. Next to it is the speed control knob. This controls the rate of laminating drive speed. Variable speed controls are crucial to enable you to run a wide variety of film and mounting material thicknesses. Note, the dial of the speed control knob reads from 0 to 10 in increments of 1. This does not represent feet per minute. It is the percent of the top speed of 65 feet per minute. For example, a reading of 1 would represent 6.5 feet per minute, or 10% of the maximum 65 feet per minute. A setting of 2 would represent 20% of 65 feet per minute, or 13 feet per minute, and so on. Because of the increased heating, and maybe more importantly, cooling capacity of the HS-25, it is not uncommon to run quality 3 mil copolymer films at the maximum 65 feet per minute in a production setting. Next to it is the black forward-reverse selector switch. Reverse mode will work only when you manually depress the switch to the reverse position. The reverse drive switch can be invaluable to help avoid problems or clear misfeeds. Located to the right of the forward-reverse switch is the green fan switch. Depressing this switch will engage the cooling fans. The cooling fans, coupled with the chill rollers, aggressively cool the film and laminated piece to below melt temperature while being laminated at high speeds. This cooling helps to alleviate heat wrinkles, warping, and waving. It also greatly improves slitting performance. The major reason for fans on a laminator is to cool the film, not the machine. The laminating and pull rollers are shipped in the open position. Turn the respective levers on the left side of the unit to close the laminating and pull rollers. Note that the front-bottom laminating roll opens and closes the nip in front, and the top-rear pull roll opens and closes the nip at the pull rolls. Open and close both sets of rolls to get the feel of them. Both sets of rollers must be closed and locked for laminating. Always leave the rollers open when you are not using the machine to avoid developing flat spots on your rubber rollers. Part A2, Threading the Laminator. Although this machine can be threaded cold, some operators feel it is easier to thread while it is warming up or is already hot. I personally prefer threading it while it is cold. Remove the feed tray and carefully set aside. The supply roll mandrels are now ready to be loaded with film. There are 3-inch diameter stop collars included with the machine to help you conveniently align the top and bottom rolls of film, and can be used to hold the rolls of film in place if necessary. I generally just use one per mandrel for easy alignment. Just slip one on either end, take a measurement from the side panel and lock it into place. Do the same thing for the bottom roll. Slide a roll of film onto the top supply roll mandrel until it rests gently against the stop collar, and replace the mandrel in the top brackets. Make sure the dull side of the film is facing up and the shiny side is facing the heat shoes during threading and operation. Now is a good time to review the threading diagram in your owner's operator's manual. The main point to remember is that the shiny, smoother side of the film, the polyester, must go against the heat shoe, and the dull polyethylene adhesive side must never go against the heat shoe and should face out toward the operator. Now, as anyone who has ever made the mistake of putting the dull adhesive side of the film against a fully heated heat shoe can tell you, it results in a truly heinous mess. The adhesive sticks to the heat shoes and anything else it comes in contact with, the rollers, the motor cover, etc., and is a major problem to clean off and make right again. With the top roll of film in place on the mandrel and the shiny side facing down, pass the film under the top idler and then drape it over the top heat shoe. Do not drape it over the safety shield. You are now ready to load the bottom supply roll mandrel. Load the bottom roll of film onto the mandrel in the same manner as the top roll. Remember, the shiny side of the film must always go against the shoe. The dull adhesive side must face away from the shoe. Make sure the two rolls are aligned with each other before going on to the next step. Now pass the web under the idler tubes near the bottom heat shoe. Use a modicum of care and good hand-to-eye coordination if threading the machine while it's hot. Pull the bottom web up and drape it over the top web. When the machine is hot, the two webs will adhere to each other. If threading cold, use a piece of tape to hold the bottom web in place. Note, the lower web idler may be moved further away from the lower heat shoe by disengaging the two knurled knobs located here in the lower idler assembly and pulling the entire assembly toward the operator's position. This allows much more room for initial threading. Once threaded, be sure to place the idler assembly back into its original position and lock the two knurled knobs. Find your feed tray and slide it back into position with the safety shield forward toward the heat shoe. Close and lock the rolls via the pressure knobs. With the film draped over the two heat shoes and melted or taped together, push one end of the threading card, located on the feed tray when unpacking, into the nip until you feel it firmly positioned against the laminating rollers. If a threading card is not available, a good sized piece of cardstock or poster board will work. Engage the drive switch. Set the forward-reverse selector switch to forward and set your speed dial knob at around 1. If the film and the threading card are adequately in the nip, the point where the laminating rollers meet, the film and threading card will start into the laminator. If it fails to grip them, unwind a little more slack in the webs and gently push the threading card forward into the nip until the rolls grip it and draw it through. As the film and threading card passes through the laminating rollers, look over the side panel and between the front and rear laminating rollers to make sure the film and card are clearly passing from the front rollers, through the chill rollers, under the slitter knife holders, through the rear rollers, and out the back of the machine. Once the threading card has cleared the back of the machine, rotate the speed dial knob to 0 and switch off the drive switch to stop. The HS-25 is equipped with an integrated chill roller system to allow the laminate web to be cooled more efficiently by direct contact with chilled silicone rubber-coated aluminum tubes. This highly efficient cooling allows for drastically increased laminating speeds. The chill rollers may be rotated into many different positions to accommodate different film thicknesses and substrates. Part A3, Laminating. Now that the machine is threaded correctly, let's set and check our temperatures for the films we are using. If you have threaded the machine cold, turn on the heat controls now and set them for the desired temperatures. From a cold start, the machine will be ready in 15 to 20 minutes. When the two heat indicators are at the desired temperature, the machine is ready to laminate. While the machine is heating up, open both sets of rollers, set the speed control to around 1, and engage the forward drive. This allows the laminating rollers to turn and be evenly heated while the machine is warming up. Evenly heated rollers contribute to the quality of the lamination by eliminating the chance of imperfections in the finished lamination caused by cold spots on the laminating rollers. During the warm-up, the actual temperature will sometimes overshoot the set temperature by more than a few degrees. When the lamination is begun, the actual temperature may initially drop below the set temperature. This is normal. This process of the heat controls gauging and self-adjusting takes a few minutes and will become more stable as you continue to laminate. Add or remove feed tray sections. Position the two side guide sections for the work to be performed. You will get the best results by centering the items in the web of film. If you have not done so as shown earlier, check and balance the supply roll tension on both mandrels. Make sure the top and bottom supply rolls have about the same tension. Once the machine has come up to temperature, you are ready to laminate. With the pull rollers closed first, then the laminating rollers closed, engage the forward drive and adjust the film speeds as required. Watch the film as it passes over the heat shoes. Allow any wrinkling to clear out before inserting material to be laminated. Each time you stop the advance of film, whether by opening the rollers or turning off the drive, slack will form in the web. It will take a few inches of film to get the slack and resulting wrinkles past the shoes. Examine the film as it exits the machine and adjust the tension to eliminate remaining wrinkles or bubbles. Also, when running any thickness of film over 1.5 mil, be sure to run the cooling fans to help alleviate heat rippling and wrinkling. As mentioned before, for best results, the film should be tight and flat between the laminating and pull rollers. If it gets out the back of the machine while it is still at or above melt temperature, heat wrinkles and distortion can occur. If the film curls up as it leaves the machine, loosen the top supply roll mandrel tension, turn counterclockwise, and or tighten the bottom supply roll mandrel tension, turn clockwise. Likewise, if the film curls down as it leaves the machine, tighten the top supply roll and or loosen the bottom supply roll. Make sure that these adjustments are kept about equal from top to bottom. Take your image and lie it flat on the feed tray, positioned against or very close to your feed guides, and square to the nip. Make sure it has been made as flat as possible to avoid wrinkling or fold over when you push it into the nip. Now, with the temperature at its predetermined setting, the rollers closed and locked, the fans on, the forward reverse switch and forward, engage the drive switch and set the speed dial at between 1 and 1.5. Allow approximately 4 or 5 inches of laminate to pass through the nip to clear any wrinkles. Then gently push your image into the nip until you feel the rolls grasp the piece and start pulling it through the laminator. At the moment you feel the machine take hold of the piece, stop pushing forward and use a little back pressure as needed to help flatten and smooth the item as it is drawn into the nip. Once the piece clears the nip, it will proceed through the cooling fans and chill rolls, through the pull rollers, and out the back of the machine in a beautifully laminated, fully encapsulated state. Once the image has cleared the pull rollers by 2 to 3 inches, you can now shut the drive off and trim your piece. If you are utilizing the Ledco finish line cutter, the finished web would be fed into it now to be automatically cut. Once the images are being run consistently through the laminator, we can now adjust the inline slitters to accurately trim the sides of the laminated pieces. Adjust the slitter knife heads via the slitter adjustment hand wheels to the desired trimmed edge setting, and then engage the slitter blades by pulling the slitter control knob on the lower front face of the right side housing as shown earlier. As mentioned before, running some practice prints is recommended not only to get a feel for the technique, but also to be sure the images have a good laminating bond. While most offset printed materials laminate very easily with a tremendous bond, some inks and papers used in inkjet printing may not adhere quite as well. To determine how well your laminated piece is adhered, we will perform what is known as the X test. Take a razor knife and score the top of the laminated piece in an X pattern. Lift the edge and pull back. If you lift ink and paper fibers as you pull back, you have a good bond. If you pull back the laminate with no resistance or without lifting ink or fibers, the lamination is not good. More heat and or slower laminating speed may be required to get an acceptable bond. If you still cannot get an acceptable bond after adjusting the speed and heat several times, give us a call. We will evaluate your combination of film, speed settings, heat settings, inks, papers, etc., and make recommendations. With some practice, this video, and your owner-operator's manual as guides, you are now ready to begin production work. As you become more accustomed to the machine, you will be able to begin utilizing its high-speed capabilities, whether manually feeding the machine or by installing the Ledco automatic sheet feeder in front of it. Part A4: Cleaning, Maintenance, and Basic Troubleshooting. Before we get started with this segment of our video, please remember always use extreme caution when performing maintenance on your machine. Always make sure the machine is unplugged and that there is no power to the laminator when cleaning or working on any part of it. Bypassing, modifying, or in any other way altering the safety features will not only void the warranty but could result in very serious injuries or even death. Never have the rubber rollers turning while performing maintenance to your machine. Never wear loose clothing, ties, or jewelry while operating or performing maintenance to your laminator. General cleaning daily or weekly will help prevent dirt or adhesive buildup on the rubber rollers and the heat shoes and will improve performance of the unit. To clean the heat shoes, first clear the machine of any film threaded in it. Then heat the shoes to full laminating temperature to soften excess or built-up adhesive that might be on them. Once the laminator is heated to the point of softening any excess adhesive, turn the heat off and disconnect the power cord. Put on some gloves or oven mitts to protect your hands. Then, using a sturdy, clean shop cloth, moistened with a gentle, non-solvent type of cleaner like Formula 409 or Simple Green, gently rub the adhesive or dirt buildup off of the shoes. Never use any abrasive material or rub too hard on the shoes because you could remove the Teflon coating. Be careful not to get burned from any steaming action when cleaning the hot heat shoes. To clean the rubber rollers, move the fans up and out of the way. Then swing away the top heat shoe, being careful not to get burned if it is still hot. This allows you to have better access to the front laminating rollers. Clean the rubber rollers with a mildly abrasive cleaning pad, such as a Scotch-Brite pad that you can pick up at any household section of your local grocery store. Again, you can use a non-solvent cleaner or mildly soapy water to assist in lifting away the dislodged adhesive and buildup. Simply wipe the rollers clean, rubbing firmly but not scrubbing so hard as to mar the rollers. Never use sharp objects or steel wool as they will gouge or mar the rollers. Another way to clean the rolls is to use a rubber cement pickup eraser that can be found at any art or office supply store. You simply rub the eraser firmly over any debris and then wipe clean. Please note, since the power has been disconnected, the rollers will be hard to turn by hand, but you need to turn them in order to clean the complete circumference of the rollers. While these methods of cleaning the rubber rollers are quite effective, we highly recommend using the X-241 Special Rubber Roll Cleaner Conditioner, available exclusively through Graphic Laminating, to really put the finishing touch on cleaning and maintaining the rubber rolls on this or any other Ledco laminator. Important note, this solution is to be used with the heat shoes and rollers cold. Though the solution is non-flammable, any excessive heat will cause it to evaporate and not be as effective. With the top heat shoe swung up and out of the way, liberally moisten a clean, sturdy shop rag with the X-241 solution and gently but firmly rub any problem areas of dirt or adhesive buildup. If the adhesive persists, you can use a Scotch-Brite pad in addition to the solution. Once the debris has been lifted from the rolls, wipe clean with a moistened rag. Lubrication is another maintenance issue to consider. Ledco uses all sealed ball bearings, so no lubing is required on the bearings. However, the drive chain and sprockets on all models should receive a light coat of gear lube or heavy grease. Here at the plant we use a white lithium grease after each 1,000 hours of operation, or about twice per year. Basic troubleshooting is next. Generally, any problems with the machine fall into three categories: the drive system, the heat system, and web tension, wrinkling, and adhesion. The drive system, or having no drive. Here there are some basic things to check. Make sure that the unit is plugged in into a proper power source. Make sure the main power breaker on the back of the machine is switched up into the on position. Also, be sure all emergency stops, the big red buttons, are disengaged. If all of these components are in place and there is still no drive, Disconnect the power cord. Using a Phillips head screwdriver and some small Allen wrenches to remove the various handles and left side housing cover from the left side of the machine. Visually check the two 8-amp drive fuses located here. Even if these fuses look okay visually, you may want to check them with a continuity tester to be completely sure of their integrity. If any of these fuses are blown, replace with only the exact same amperage fuses. Replacement fuses are available from Ledco Parts Service Department. If after replacing a fuse or two, or if there were no problem fuses, you still do not have drive, please contact your dealer or Ledco for advice. At this point, you will probably need to have a qualified service person or electrician involved. The heat system. If you are having heating problems, let's say no heat or uncontrollable heat, stop a minute to clearly define the problem. Determine if it is a top or bottom heat shoe problem, and follow the initial checklist of power supply, safety switches, fuses, etc. Be sure to check the 20-amp fuses denoted here with a continuity tester to see if they are functional. If blown, replace them with new ones of the same amperage. If, after replacing the fuse or fuses, there is still no heat, please call your dealer or Ledco directly for more in-depth multimeter testing of the relays, heaters, and/or heat control board. If uncontrollable heat is happening, it is caused either by a shorted thermocouple, heat sensor wire, or a relay is stuck. One way to troubleshoot the relay is to exchange it wire for wire with its opposite, top for bottom, etc. And if the problem follows, it is definitely the relay. If the problem does not follow in the exchange just mentioned, it could be the thermocouple. Give your dealer or Ledco a call and we'll explain some more detailed procedures. Even with a properly functioning machine, sometimes problems with wrinkling, waviness, and non-adhesion can occur. Please refer to your owner's operator's manual or call Ledco and request a copy of our newly finished troubleshooting guide for suggested tension settings and temperature settings. Also, consult with your film and media suppliers for their suggestions regarding temperature, speed, films being used, ink, papers, etc. The combination of proper variables is very important to successful lamination. We always suggest that you run a sample test using actual components prior to setting up and running any large production run or when running a valuable, unique print. This is especially true with inkjet output. With a little practice, by asking the right questions and by referring often to your owner's operator's manual and this video, you can truly utilize the high-speed capabilities of this unit. Thank you for taking time to watch this video. We hope it was entertaining as well as informative. Please remember, if you ever have any problems you cannot resolve with this or any other Ledco equipment, please call us at 1-800-937-9293 or visit us online at www.ledcoinc.com. Or you can call Graphic Laminating at 1-800-345-5300 or visit online at www.graphiclaminating.com. Thank you.